Well, everyone, this is officially the end. My name is Mr. Rage, and welcome to my channel, guys. I hope you guys are doing very well on this ominous October morning, this ominous Halloween morning. Happy Halloween, by the way. And this is going to be my final Dead by Daylight rant video, because my time with Dead by Daylight is coming to an end. It was a journey. It's been a journey. Hell, it's been a journey since I started playing this game in the first place, and there was a lot of joy, a lot of happiness, while there was also a lot of rage and just downright sadness. You know, if I said this game didn't negatively affect my mental health, I would be telling a very dirty lie. But during my time making Dead by Daylight rant videos, I probably told you guys that I stopped playing the game. Well, that was a lie. I was playing the game, just not as much, and I was primarily playing Survivor and playing Killer and custom games with people on Xbox and on Discord. But I am tired of waiting. I am tired of suffering. Behavior Interactive is one of the laziest video game developers I have ever seen. The fact that Dead by Daylight has literally been the exact same game since its release, which was all the way back in 2017, is insane. It's okay for a new game to start off simple, and as the game goes on, it gets better and it gets new things added to it, right? You know, to spice things up a little bit. Dead by Daylight, on the other hand, has been the same game since its release. Behavior has not done a single thing to make this game anything else than what it has been since its beginning. I have no idea how people are able to play this game for hours upon hours on end, literally doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over again. The first problem with this game is its actual design. The design of this game is a fucking mess. If Behavior does not want to get off of their lazy asses to maybe do something to make the game even the slightest bit different, the least they could do is make it more balanced for both sides. Dead by Daylight is 90% Survivor-sided and somewhat Killer-sided, but in my previous Dead by Daylight rant videos, I talked mostly about how Survivor-sided it was, but honestly, this game is a pain in the ass for both sides. And I am tired of this game. I cannot take this game anymore. I hate this game so much. And that is very sad, because let me tell you something. I never, ever want to hate a game. I never want to hate any game. I love video games. I passionately love video games. Video games is one of the simplest ways to have fun in life. It is the simplest yet most relaxing thing that could give you so much fun and joy in life. I love video games. It is one of my favorite hobbies, and it is one of my favorite activities in life, because playing video games, it's such a simple concept, but from that simple concept comes so much joy, so much fun, such a great way to take your mind off of life's issues. I never, ever want to hate a video game. So the fact that I hate this game, it hurts me. It honestly hurts me. Because this is a game that is right up my alley. When I first started playing Dead by Daylight, I loved this game because I was unaware of just how terrible it actually was. I was a pure player back when I first started playing this game. I was a noob survivor, I was a noob killer, but you know what? I still had fun. Whether what happened, whether I lost, whether I got gen rushed, whether I got camped and tunneled out the game, I didn't even know what that meant when I first started playing. I just had fun. The more I learned about this game, the more I started to realize just how downright unbalanced and just how terrible this game's design truly is. And as I said earlier, behavior is lazy as fuck. Mobile game developers are probably less lazier than behavior. The fact that this game has literally been nothing but the same since its release, with not a single amount of change in sight, no new game modes, no new objectives, nothing. Since this game's release, all we have received is nerfs and buffs for killer and survivor perks. That's it. But primarily, nerfs and some buffs for the killer's power. That's it. That's all you will ever get in this game. It's all the game has ever gotten since its release. Behavior has refused to do anything different for this game. They have refused to add any new game modes or add any variety in this game. Playing Dead by Daylight is literally the definition of insanity. Every match you play in this game, whether as killer or survivor, is going to be either extremely similar or probably the exact same, except maybe it will be worse at times. Playing survivor in this game is essentially its easy mode. Playing survivor in this game is the simplest concept I have ever seen. It's simpler than Call of Duty. People shit on first-person shooters for being too repetitive. Look at this fucking game. Look at Dead by Daylight. What do you do in this game when you play survivor? You get chased by the killer, you do generators. What do you do as killer? You chase the survivor. You try and stop them from doing generators. That's all you do in this game. And the sad part is, Dead by Daylight has so much potential. This game has the potential of being one of the most fun party games of all time, because let's be honest, Dead by Daylight is a party game. Whether you're playing in a custom game or when you're playing in a Survive with Friends group, this game is a party game at the end of the day. And for the most part, it is a fun party game. Playing Survivor, when you're playing with friends in this game, it does make it somewhat better. It makes it immersive even. When you're playing with your friends, you're giving each other callouts about where the killer is, which one of you guys is being chased by the killer. It is fun. I'll admit, playing Survivor in Dead by Daylight is fun. I'm trying not to be extremely negative about this game because God knows I don't. This game has brought me plenty of joy in the past and even in the present. So this is not a game I want to hate. For anybody who thinks that I am just being a negative hater, you couldn't be further from the truth. I wanted to love this game so much. The amount of both dedication and money that I have put into this game is enough proof that I did want to love this game, and deep down I still do. I would not be making these type of rant videos if I did not care about Dead by Daylight. I make these videos because I care about Dead by Daylight, because I am simply expressing my frustration with this game because of what it does to me. This is a game that I want to be great. I want this game to be so much more than what it is, because you know what? It simply isn't enough. Playing Survivor is only fun when you are playing with friends. That is the only time playing Survivor is fun. And it just goes back to my point about how simple this game is. It's too simple. This game's design is one of the laziest I have ever seen. Like I said earlier, it's lazier than the concept of a first-person shooter just running around levels shooting people. This game is simpler than that. And again, as I said earlier, it's okay that Dead by Daylight started as a simple game. You play as survivor, you survive and do generators. You play as killer, you put survivors on a hook and kill them. That was alright. It was alright when it first came out. What pisses me off is the fact that this game has literally been the same since its release. I cannot stand games that do things like this. I cannot stand developers that make games like this. These type of developers essentially make the same game over and over and over again with just a fresh coat of paint and slightly better graphics, and they want to charge you $60 for it. Behavior may not be as bad as Activision and Call of Duty, because let's be honest, Call of Duty is shit, but behavior may not be as bad as Call of Duty, but it's the fact that this is their only game. Dead by Daylight is the only game that these people work on. It's the only game that Behavior owns. It's the only game that they work on, for fuck's sake. Is it too much to ask to get the slightest bit of something new or just some fucking variety? Behavior's way of adding slight bits of variety, slight, is with both Killer and Survivor perks. Killer and Survivor perks somewhat make the experience better. Only somewhat. They enhance your experience with this game by 2%. Slightly fun perks and perks in general is not going to fix this game's incredibly simple concept and its incredibly simple game design, but Behavior seems to think that it will. Why do you think that Behavior spends so much time releasing new chapters for this game? Why do you think that they spend so much time bringing new perks into the game? Because that's what Behavior falls back on to add variety into this game. They use perks to add variety to the game. That's simply not enough. Not only is it not enough, it's fucking lazy. Behavior is fully capable of adding new game modes or just making the game different, because the game is just too simple. Again, the fact that this game has literally been the same since its release, it's fucking insanity. It's insanity, for fuck's sake. This game has not been different since its release. Dead by Daylight could be such a better game. Combined with its extremely simple concept and extremely frustrating unbalanced game design, Dead by Daylight could be so much better. I will even go as far to say Dead by Daylight could be the most fun multiplayer game ever made, because it already has those type of moments. Like I said, playing Survivor in this game with a group of really good friends and friends that you actually know in real life and friends that you actually care about, it's a really fun experience. Hell, I don't think I've ever had more fun playing a multiplayer game when it comes to Dead by Daylight, especially when playing in a Survivor group with friends or even in custom matches. In custom matches, you don't gotta worry about losing the game because it's all just for fun. So the game already has moments where it actually could be fun, even though the game is just too simple and unbalanced. All Behavior has to do is just add in some new game modes or just do something, just anything, please. All Behavior does for this game is either nerf or buff shit, or just add in new perks that they end up buffing or nerfing themselves. That's all this game has been since the beginning. Why, Behavior? Why? Why would you do this? Why would you take so much time to make a game and then treat it like this? Because although Dead by Daylight's game design is extremely simple and stupid, it still probably took Behavior a lot of time to make this game. It takes a lot of time to make any game, okay? Making a game is extremely difficult. So why does Behavior make a game and then treat it the way they do? They clearly weren't lazy, because lazy developers wouldn't make a video game in the first place. They made the fucking game. Why don't they treat it better? Why don't they treat it better? Why don't they treat this game better when it's literally the only game that they work on? Behavior doesn't even work on other games. They don't even have other games to work on. If they had other games to work on, then maybe I would see why they don't care about making Dead by Daylight different than what it's been since its release. But the fact that Dead by Daylight is the only game that they own and work on is insane. It's insane that they don't do anything to add even the slightest bit of variety with this game. And of course, just like I mentioned in my previous videos, this game continues to be extremely unbalanced. People think Call of Duty is unbalanced for having OP guns, specific OP guns. This game is literally 90% in favor of one side, while the other side is forced to suffer. Dead by Daylight is one of the most unbalanced games I have ever played in my entire life. And this is coming from the same guy who plays both Call of Duty and GTA Online. Even fucking Rockstar, the assholes who just got leaked by a 17-year-old, even they are better at game design and balance. The first problem with Dead by Daylight's game design is the fact that playing Survivor is just too simple and easy. When you play Survivor in this game, it is Dead by Daylight's version of playing on easy difficulty mode. And I was talking to a friend of mine. I recently became friends with this guy, and he says that Dead by Daylight is not a casual game. He says it's a competitive game. Dead by Daylight is a competitive casual game because playing Survivor is a casual experience. Looping is a survivor's ultimate tool against the killer. You could have arthritis, and looping would not be extremely difficult. Looping is very easy in this game. It's literally just running around a pallet, dropping the pallet when the killer gets too close, and then you run to the next pallet, and the cycle repeats itself. And it's the same thing with LT walls and Z walls, or jungle gyms. Looping is just too easy. Now, I would actually not have a problem with looping if it wasn't for the objective for survivors, because hear me out. Being chased by the killer is fun, and chasing the survivor is also fun. This game does a fantastic job at truly putting you in a horror movie scenario. You've got a killer like Leatherface. Chasing a survivor trying to kill them. That's literally a slasher movie concept. Dead by Daylight is a slasher movie simulator, so the chases are supposed to be fun for the killer and the survivor. But what this game does to killer is killers are punished for chasing survivors, because the objective for survivor is extremely easy. The objective of this game, not only has this game been the same since its release, but even the objective of the game is almost as simple as its concept. All you do in this game as the main objective, the main thing you do to win the game as Survivor, you repair generators. You're in a horror movie scenario, and that's what you do. You don't call the cops. You don't try and fix a car to escape. You don't try and fix a boat to escape. You don't try and fight back against the killer. No. You repair generators like you're a fucking handyman. And that has been this game since its release, which was years ago from today. Doing generators in this game is one of the easiest objectives I have ever seen in a game. It's easier than any of Call of Duty's game modes. It's easier than doing a heist in GTA Online. All you do in this game is repair generators. That's your main objective when you're playing as a survivor. You repair generators. And repairing generators is extremely simple. There's no challenge in it. There's no tension in it. All you do is just hop on a generator, you hold down the LB button or the space key if you're on PC, and that's it. And you hit little QuickTime events. That's it. You hit stupid little QuickTime events. While playing Survivor can be frustrating sometimes, playing Killer in Dead by Daylight is one of the most miserable experiences in video game history. This shit is almost as bad as Superman 64, which is known as one of the worst games of all time. You know what? Fuck me in the mouth for saying this, but even Fortnite, a game I despise with every fiber in my body, even Fortnite is better than Dead by Daylight. God, it hurts so much to say that. Oh. God, I fucking hate that game. But you know what? Say what you want about Fortnite. At least Epic Games adds in new game modes for Fortnite players to enjoy. At least they actually care about making their one game different. So that way the players don't get bored. Because here's the thing. If you expect people to be satisfied playing the same game over and over and over and over and over again, then you're not a good game developer. You're essentially asking us to do the same thing over and over and over again, and you're expecting us to have fun even though you're asking us to do the same thing over and over again. How could you have fun doing the same thing? Same thing. Over and over and over and over and over again. You play Survivor, you get chased by the killer, and you repair a generator. Oh, the killer's coming. Oh no, I better start running. The killer loses sight of you. Maybe he hooks you. You get unhooked, you do generators again, and you start getting chased again. That's it. That's all you do in this game. At least Epic Games actually tries to make Fortnite fun by adding variety and new game modes. Because when it comes to online games, that is the key to making online games fresh. If you're only going to have one online game, if you're not going to try and make different games, online games can't survive for extremely long years. Look at Call of Duty. That's because Call of Duty's concept and gameplay is fun. But even Call of Duty adds new game modes so that way people don't get bored. When people get bored of Team Deathmatch in Call of Duty, they try one of the different modes so that way they don't get bored anymore. Dead by Daylight doesn't even have any alternative game modes, for fuck's sake. But as I was saying before, playing killer in this game is fucking miserable. You chase a survivor, and if you chase that survivor for longer than 5 minutes, sometimes 4, sometimes even 3, the game punishes you for it because of how easy it is by doing generators. And you may be saying, well, just use a gen perk. Just use gen perks. Gen perks are extremely easy to counter. Pop Goes the Weasel, for example. Pop Goes the Weasel only works if the killer gets a hook. How are you supposed to use Pop Goes the Weasel if you can't even get a single down and get a hook? By time you even get someone down, 3 generators are already gone. And at that point, your Pop Goes the Weasel is as useless as this game is at providing a good experience for people who play killer in the first goddamn place. Everything killer does in this game, survivors already have a counter for it. The killer tries to slug, you've got borrow time. The killer tries to tunnel, you've got BS. You've got DS, or you've got what that one perk. What's it called? That one fucking perk. What's that perk called? Unbreakable. No, not unbreakable. That one perk where it makes you invincible after you get unhooked. What is that perk called? Jesus Christ! How can I forget that perk? BT. The killer tries to tunnel. Survivors have BT, or they have Decisive Strike. There's actually a lot of really unbalanced survivor perks in Dead by Daylight. Everything a killer does, there is a counter for it. If the killer tries to bring gen perks like Pop Goes the Weasel, all a survivor has to do is loop the killer long enough so that way by the time the killer even could use their Pop Goes the Weasel, there's only 2 generators left. If the killer tries to use Jolt, it only takes 8% progression away from a generator. What is that going to do? What's that going to do? 8% progress? That's nothing. That is absolutely nothing. Gen perks have counters. Tunneling has a counter. Everything killer does in this game, there is a counter. There's a counter for slugging. There's a counter for tunneling and camping. There's even a new perk. Behavior literally added a new perk with the recent Resident Evil DLC, a perk that could help prevent camping. And you may be thinking to yourself, well, this is only if the survivors are using these perks. You're never going to see survivors not using perks. Okay, survivors are always going to use perks. And behavior knows just how annoying and unbalanced these perks are. And like I said earlier, playing killer is just terrible. Looping would not be such a problem if the objective of the game wasn't as simple as it was, or if the killer could just go slightly faster. You see, there are some loops in this game, and most of these loops are on survivor-sided maps. There are some loops that are downright unwinnable or unmind gameable. You see, the only way a killer can counter looping is by outsmarting a survivor and by mind gaming a survivor. That is the only thing a killer can do to counter loop a survivor. There are some loops in some of this game's maps, some loops that are completely unmind gameable. You can't even mind game some loops in this game. You are forced to chase that survivor who is running you on an OP loop until you get Bloodlust Tier 3. If you don't know what Bloodlust is, when a killer chases a survivor for a certain amount of time, they get Bloodlust, which allows them to go slightly faster. There's Tier 1, Tier 2, and Tier 3. And at Tier 3, the killer goes extremely quick. But as soon as the killer hits a survivor, their Bloodlust immediately goes back down to 0. So even with Bloodlust, a survivor can still loop killers for an extremely long time, long enough for generators to get done. And that is what is wrong with this game. Because first of all, the objective of the game is just too easy. When you have the fact that the generator speed is hella quick and looping can keep a killer busy long enough, it's a recipe for just how fucked this game is. Because looping a killer is just too efficient. Yes, you could counter looping by mind gaming a survivor, but since looping is extremely simple, so is outsmarting the killer himself when the killer is trying to outsmart you. Reading the killer and outsmarting the killer is easy, especially since the killer literally has a big ass red stain coming out of their dicks. Okay? So you can pretty much see the killer at all times, so it's even harder at times for a killer to try and outsmart a survivor, since survivors can see that big ass red light behind the killer, so they can always see where the killer is going, so the killer can't even counter loop unless they moonwalk, and sometimes not even that's going to work. My problem with this game is everything a killer does, there's too many counters for it. There's just too many counters for it. And you know, I've talked about this already in my previous Dead by Daylight rant videos, you know, how efficient looping is and how terrible it is playing killer. But to be honest, all of these problems with the game would easily be fixed if there was just some new game modes, a new objective. Add something, please. I don't even want killers to become more OP, because then playing Survivor is not going to be fun. I want this game to be fun for both sides. Dead by Daylight is the type of game that should be fun for both sides. Alright? It's bad enough right now that playing killer is miserable because of how OP looping is and how easy doing generators are. I don't want it to be the opposite. I don't want it to be like, you know, now killers are OP and now playing Survivor is shit. Add a new objective, add new game modes, add something. For the love of anyone who still plays this game, just do something, please. This game has been the same thing since release, and it is ridiculous. It is proof of how downright lazy behavior is. Behavior is clueless. I doubt they even play this game themselves. They just look at what the community tells them. The community tells them which perks are too OP and which perks needs a buff, and behavior's like, hey, you asked for it, we'll buff this perk, we'll nerf that one. Oh, now we'll nerf this one, and we'll buff that one again. That's it. That's all behavior does. And the fact that playing killer is such a miserable experience, the fact that looping is enough to completely ruin a killer's experience is pathetic. Survivors don't even need to fight back against the killer. All they need to do is loop the killer, and that is enough to ruin the killer's experience. And it shouldn't even be like that. Chasing a survivor would be fun if the killer didn't have to worry about being punished for doing the only thing that the game will let them. Because there's nothing else a killer can do but just try and either counter loop a survivor or just dedicate to that one survivor and just try and camp them out the game. Because they say just don't dedicate to one survivor. They say chase multiple survivors and keep pressure on all the survivors. How are you supposed to do that when literally every survivor is a god at looping? What are you supposed to do then? What are you going to do? Use Bamboozle? Bamboozle only blocks one window. You going to use Fire Up? Fire Up only works after multiple generators are completed. Dead by Daylight is and always will be a terrible fucking game. But you know what? It's okay. You want to know why it's okay? I'll show you why it's okay. Because we have alternatives. This game right here. See this game right here? Buy this game, play this game, way better. Oh, still not convinced? Here, I'll give you something else. Give you something else. I spelled that wrong. That's embarrassing. Here is your alternative for Dead by Daylight. Either pick Evil Dead or pick Ghostbusters. This game actually looks fantastic. How about we take a look at some reviews together? How about we look at some reviews together? Let's do it together. Look at all these 5-star reviews. Look at all these amazing 5-star reviews. Still not convinced? Wait for Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Fuck Dead by Daylight. And fuck Behavior. I am done with this game, and my time with this game is over. I have a collab with another YouTuber coming soon where we will